It's just me right now. It's literally just me. We're gonna start officially once Dad gets here proper. In the meantime, I'm gonna be distributing the links, renaming everything, etc. We should be going live right now, actually. Are we live? Yeah. Shout out to YouTube for that 500 internal server error. Just what I want to see. There we go. Is that what my hair looks like? Good grief. That probably looks worse. Or text my friends and tell them that the Pug stream is on. Wow, that's a little bit right. That might just be my problem, though. PugCast episode 11 is starting soon. And then I'm going to add a fancy little tune in message and put an exclamation mark to show that my dad's chipper and peppy. He's still a young buck.
Dilly-dallying around.
Hey, Mom.
What are you doing?
You're on the stream.
Oh.
I just started in advance to help get things up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to be on camera?
I just got back from a walk, so.
All right. Bye. I felt my soul escape with that one. Shout out to Dad 24 minutes ago. Live stream at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if Calvin shows up. Stay tuned. Man, he had the audacity to put a semicolon in that sentence, but forget to capitalize it and use double asterisks to emphasize the if rather than italicizing it. Good grief. Dad, what happened to you? Where's Morrie? Morrie's going to be here soon. Morrie recently received a large gift from an anonymous donor, and he's saving it towards getting a yacht. He's out right now looking for yachts. Morrie just wants to have a boat, you know? Morrie's conquered the land and the sky, but never the sea, and he's ready for all three. And he should be coming in here real soon. Same with Dad. He should be here real soon. The thing hasn't officially started yet. I just have it running so I can get the links out. Wow. What does this camera do to my everything? Like, it makes my hair look brown. It makes my skin look blotchy. It makes me look like I have some kind of, like, mid-century disease. I gotta get that looked at. Just quickly. Look. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post the link in the Discord group. If you're not in the Discord group, you're lame. Just straight up. Did you see the video of someone made of a pug driving a speedboat? I have to look this up. Pug driving a speedboat. Let me look that up. Oh, wow. That video is like 2 years old. Let's look at that. Just feel free to ignore this part. This is a pug on a boat. Yep. Hey, Dad. Look. Hey, Dad. Come here. No. Like right now. Look at this. It's a pug driving a speedboat. Like, look at this. It's this pug driving a speedboat, right? Let me find the spot. There we go. There. See that? You see that? Look, he's driving. It's incredible. There's like 7 angles. It's incredible. And then there's like the people who own the pug, I guess. Ain't that majestic? Let's just switch to any other angle. Morrie's here. And we're all excited for that.
Okay, Morrie.
Is Morrie treating you right?
Sure. Are we treating him right?
Nobody can match Morrie's standards for upkeep and living. Why do you think he's looking into buying yachts and stuff?
Okay.
Well, there he is. There is our hero of the day. Oh man, that's actually a little close to you. I think I might move that back a bit. Ignore the fact that the camera's moving back. Just tune it out with your imagination, audience.
Tune it out. Okay, I gotta find the link here.
I put it on Facebook. Bam, there we go. Ain't that professional? Professional AF. So what are you doing today, Dad?
Just don't ask me any questions till I figure out how to do this again.
All right. Sounds good.
I think Morrie got what I gave him there. This is number 11.
Yeah, we're up to number. I mean, ever since we rebranded, this is the 11th since the rebranding. As you can see, Morrie's got his own
little. If this
little.
catches the stains on my shirt, I got some chocolate on my shirt and had to wipe it
I
off.
thought that was like sweat or something, and I didn't want to ask.
No, it's just it'll dry. Okay, Morrie, you'll get the rest of your pepperoni here in a moment.
Look at that pug.
He's looking for it.
I'm just gonna text my friends and tell them that the stream's on.
Are these people in already? Good grief.
Yeah, I started early. How many people are in?
I don't know. Where do you get the total?
It should be under the views section.
The views section.
Yeah.
I'll pretend to know what that is.
Dad, you've been on the internet how long?
Yeah,
Longer than 3
what does
seconds.
it mean, views section?
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking at the YouTube page with the 2 cameras. That's what I see.
So below the title, it says 32 watching now.
Oh, okay. All right, I see that.
Peter Sullivan says, "Get pepperonis to sponsor you."
Yeah, I know.
Dad, am I allowed to seek out sponsors? How does that work?
If you want to, go ahead.
So like, I can approach companies.
I guess, yeah. They're gonna ask you for stats.
All right. Well, okay. Well, email me some stats, and I'll get us.
No,
some
you
sponsors.
have to come up with a stat. I'm the guy who can't even find out who's watching, and you want me to come up with YouTube
Okay, fine,
stats?
Trey. Okay, well, okay, fine. We have how many subscribers do we have?
Yeah, but that's the podcast. That's not this. So.
Why can't we
All
sponsor?
Right, I gotta silence this. Hold on.
Yeah, you probably should. Susan Marker says, "Any news on a new pug?"
No, not yet. We're still waiting for litters.
Someday we will have all of the pugs.
Yeah, and there was somebody else that suggested getting pepperonis to sponsor us. So go ahead and email.
All
Just
right.
email them. I mean, they're gonna have an advertising department or publicity or something, whatever they call it.
Maybe. So, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm in a play. Right.
Oh yeah, Calvin's in his 3rd play.
Yeah, I'm in my 3rd play, and you know what the special thing this time is.
You know, I walked right into that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So basically the play, it's gonna be like 5 single act plays, right? But they're broken up with little monologues, little like single person, itty bitty, 90-second plays. And you know what mine is? Mine, I play the role of this like keynote speaker, right? He's speaking at a convention, right? And it's like a flat Earth convention, right? And my character's like this flat earther, and the script that we're using.
Who would have thought? Yeah.
Is the script that I'm using is based off of a flat Earth round that I found on Facebook that was really funny. And like I'm gonna have a podium and everything, and like there's gonna be like a banner or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna have the name of this character's organization, which is Flat Earth Commission for Environmental Science, aka Feces. It's
that
great.
wasn't your idea though.
No, it was Jerry's, our teacher. He came up with it in like 15 seconds flat. It was the smartest thing I've ever seen anyone do.
Yeah, I'm sure to enlighten and enrage the audience.
So whereas on the checklist we got the flat Earth reference in, now I just need more Morrie and Gary Wayne somewhere.
All right, Susan says the podcast today was really wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, now I have to figure out what Susan means.
She's giving you a compliment, Dad.
Yeah, I know, but I guess an episode just went live on the Naked Bible podcast. So what's today? Today's Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, this was the Do Good Works Contribute to Salvation. Okay, now I'm caught up now. I'll tell you this whole month has been a blur. So I just got back a couple days ago after being gone for a little over 2 weeks. We were in, where was I? First week was in Dallas. Yeah, for Fringe Pop filming, and then the second week was in Virginia Beach for 2 events. And then I hung out at my brother's house and saw my my mom and dad as well. So if any of you can think of it over the next few days, really over the next few weeks, you could pray for my dad. He has a number of health issues, but the most acute is a pancreas problem. So his pancreas, he's had a couple surgical procedures on it to get it to drain properly. And it hasn't worked as well as anticipated. There are some issues with it, but we're just kind of in holding pattern mode to see, dealing with the pain issue, and then also a few other things so that it works properly. But it's kind of a struggle right now. The strabismus struggle is real. No idea what that means.
What does he say?
Sam Kane, strabismus struggle. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, his name is Ed, by the way. If my dad's name is Ed, so.
I almost said his full
Any
name.
news on the summer meeting? Yeah, we're gonna have one. I'm forbidden from talking about it by Trey. We leave a week from today for the East Coast to go to Israel. And the plan was, and I'm guessing it's still in place, to announce something before we leave, but I'm not quite sure, so I'm not going to say any more about it. Other than there will be.
Hello, Mother.
Mom's watching. So.
Mom's watching. Morrie's mine now.
Mom's lurking.
Don't look. Shh. I am your parent now, Morrie.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
Mom, I don't know what the point of you sneaking is, because like everyone can hear like
look,
the shrill door
no,
opening.
Mom. You're not old enough to remember this, but there used to, Tim Allen was a comedy actor. Used to have a show. No,
Tim Allen? That Tim Allen?
I don't know.
Oh wait. Oh, the Tim Allen was my favorite thing ever. Like he used to. Sorry,
he had this neighbor that you'd never saw his face.
Yeah, because it would.
They'd always obscure part of his face.
Yeah. And in the.
Okay, that's Mom's role here.
You know, I grew up on the GameCube.
She comes on every episode, but you never see her. You just hear her.
You know, like I grew up on like the GameCube and VHS. I know what Tim Allen is. I've watched it.
Okay, but the show was called Home Improvement.
Yeah, it was Home Improvement, and the show inside the show was called Tool Time. That Tim Allen's character.
Yeah.
What was Tim Allen's character's name?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't remember. But you know, there was
probably Tim.
there was a famously really terrible Home Improvement video game for the NES or for the SNES.
How would you make a Home Improvement video?
Exactly. It's horrible.
I guess I just answered.
There's like dinosaurs in it.
Answered the same
like
question. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Wilson was the neighbor's name. Yeah.
And I loved how in the later seasons there were shots of his face, but they were always obscured. Sorry, there were shots of his face in the opening sequence, but they obscured it with like his name plate.
Right.
Which I
They
really
did
love.
everything to obscure.
I love that.
Yep. So that's Mom's role here. Everyone knows she's here, she's present, but doesn't ever like show up.
Tim Allen was he also the? No, he wasn't. That was a different guy. But Tim Allen's been. I've heard something about him in the news recently. I don't know what it was. Probably some people complaining about he's Republican or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Tim the Tool Man Taylor. His name was Earl. So we got That is that conflicting here?
It's conflicting. This is the internet.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sam says I saw fragments of truth. Thanks for your part, Mike. Is there anything you wanted to say but could not or got edited? Well, it's actually funny because I kept getting emails from people that either asked if I was in it or said they liked that I was in it, and I couldn't remember being in it. This is kind of a metaphor for my whole life here, but I couldn't remember if I was in this thing or not, so I actually had to ask the producer, the director, like, am I in this thing? Because I keep getting emails. And so he sent me a link. And then when I saw we had a friend, thanks Fiera. Fiera's probably not listening, but she went to the theater to see this and took photographs, which I'm sure she's not supposed to do.
Yeah. Thanks
But
for outing her on
Right.
on
We
the public
well
stream.
we won't give her last name or her credentials or anything like that. But she took two.
She's
still.
43 years old. She's a hermit. She has one eye.
She took, yeah, there you go. She took two pictures, and when I saw the picture of me in the film that people were watching in the theater, then I remembered that was actually green screened. So I wasn't in the room where they had me, but we took some stuff off a mobile ed course, and then I redid it for inclusion in this film. So that's how they did it. So I don't remember if I got edited, Sam. I don't know if they kept it all or if they put something in or whatever, but there you go.
Dad, do you want to hold Morrie for a bit?
Sure.
Okay, we'll come over and get him.
Well, is he cold?
No, I'm just holding him.
Well,
It hurts my back.
Well, put him back in his thing.
Okay,
It's not as
Morrie.
cold. I mean,
Morrie.
granted, he doesn't have much fur, so he'll still be a little cold today, but it's not like it's winter anymore.
Okay, so my friend Derek was over once, right? Remember when I got the jalapeno seed in my eye? But when he was here, Morrie is kind of like a joke in the theater group, kind of. At least he is with me and Derek.
What, at school?
Yeah, and there's this thing that he calls Morrie. He calls Morrie like a level 9 woke, which is my new favorite thing. Like his eyes are so wide open that like he sees like dimensions we don't.
See, we need a permanent camera on Morrie because like he's conscious now and we're missing it.
Well, okay. Well, Dad, here's my proposed solution. We start filming this on my desktop, and I bring it down here because my desktop has enough USB ports to support 3 cameras.
But that's a lot of setup, though, isn't it?
Okay, literally all I would need is a power cord,
Well, that comes with the
a
desktop.
monitor, and an HDMI cord.
All right,
Well, I mean, maybe a keyboard and
we-
mouse too, but that's easy stuff, right?
Yeah. All right,
We need a third
well,
camera.
All right, we'll think about
Speaking
it.
of cameras, I'm going to buy a charger
What about
for my DSLR
where's your
batteries.
where's your camera?
It's in my room. I know where all the pieces are. I can't find the battery charger anywhere, so it's just been dead for like 2 months straight. So
Well, then
I'm
we-
going to buy a microphone for it. I'm going to buy
Alright.
another
I'm
charger.
just gonna say we just get a charger.
Well, I mean, do I pay for
All
it?
right, let's see here.
Do I have to pay for it? Because if you're offering to buy the charger,
No,
like I can't
I'll
say
get
no
you
to
the
free
charger. It's not going to be much.
stuff.
All right.
Heck yeah.
I'm just looking through the things here. Is there anything written on why Jesus was never named Emmanuel? I don't know that the Old Testament ever said that that he would be named Emmanuel in Isaiah 7:14. Do I have my? Let's see here. Do I have anything open? I mean, God with us is a reference to the incarnation, not necessarily a proper name. Let's see here. Yeah, the English suggests that shall call his name Emmanuel. Let me just look it up in the Hebrew here. I have a suspicion already. Let's see.
I have a question, Dad.
Yeah.
How come this computer doesn't allow for the creation of paint files?
What is? I don't know what you mean.
Like, MS Paint. You know what that is?
Isn't it preloaded on there?
Yeah, I mean, it should be, but for some reason
Right.
it's not. Because I was going to make a little thing and put it up on the stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's third person. Yeah, his name shall be called Emmanuel or Emmanuel. So, I mean, name can refer to identity and often does in the Old Testament, not necessarily a proper name. So I think the Old Testament flexibility there, the Old Testament multivalence there, to use an academic term, is probably the best way to approach that. In other words, he could be referred to. That would be his identity, God with us. So I wouldn't say oblique reference to the incarnation, but it's not terribly transparent, but it's certainly discernible if you know that name Doesn't have to be proper name, but can speak of identity, just generally. Oh, why was John named by God through an angel? I don't know that we're given a reason for that, other than that it conforms to the typical pattern. Zechariah, if you remember Unseen Realm, the section about it's a chapter, but let's just call it a chapter. I mean, there's scattered references elsewhere, but the whole idea of the validation of a prophet loosely defined as someone who spoke for God, that was precipitated by divine encounter. And so, again, an angel appearing to Zechariah, giving him this information. Again, the information would have been validated by the appearance, and I mean, we know the rest of the story. So it was actually strengthened that he wasn't allowed to speak after that, and then all of a sudden could. But the notion of an angelic or divine being appearance to announce something and to give content and thereby validate the messaging is fairly typical of the Old Testament. So it's nothing unusual. It wouldn't have been unexpected, in other words. It wouldn't have been like anything new. In fact, it would have tied Zechariah back to the Old Testament prophetic line. Again, loosely defined as people who speak for God.
Hey, Dad.
James says it's the first time I've seen Morrie with his eyes open. Well, that was quick because he's
dead.
Right, he's recumbent now.
Hey, Dad, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you put something on Facebook earlier. Yeah.
When?
It said 40 minutes ago ish.
About having the live stream.
It said live stream up at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You were gone, so I was hoping you'd remember.
I'm just saying it's kind of odd that you'd say that because I was here for the first 5 minutes and you weren't.
Well, I'm talking. Yeah, when I sent it, you weren't even in the building. So
take that, Dad.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I have to announce something from Virginia Beach. Is the camera's on me? Okay, so we got 3 of these cards. Can they see that? Because I don't want to put
maybe a little more to your left. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yep.
We got 3 of these cards. One was for me, and all 3 cards. Well, maybe one of them is an exception. We're from Lee Hawkins Bach and Mike Bach, and so we thank you for them. Little note and a gift in the cards. Calvin got. Tell them what you got.
I got a $25 prepaid Visa gift card.
Yeah,
which was nice
and
very incredible.
Right.
And also, I just want to point out, even if nothing was in there, I would have been ecstatic anyway because it's a letter.
Right.
No one ever sends me anything. So thank you.
Yeah. And Morrie got a card too.
Morrie got a card.
Morrie got an Amazon gift certificate.
He immediately preloaded it into an offshore Swiss account.
Right.
Not sure what that's for. But
he's saving up for a yacht or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's what offshore means. I don't know. He didn't explain it very clearly.
He's trying to avoid taxes.
Something about a Swiss bank. Something about contraband.
Here's the card. Now I would have Morrie read this, but he's asleep.
Yeah.
So, dear Morrie, our humans are huge fans of you and the PugCast. Again, that's why people watch.
Yeah.
We know that. Your live stream keeps our pet parents out of trouble. That's a good thing, which we greatly appreciate. Blessings, Sanford and Chrissy, a.k.a. the Bassett Brigade. Hence the Bassett.
A very utilitarian way of thinking about it.
So Morrie again winning hearts and minds across the country.
Changing hearts and minds.
Right, changing hearts and minds, yes, across the country. Now on the East Coast as well, so yeah.
We'll all be pugs soon enough.
We'll all be pugs.
This is like our extended lore, Dad. Get on this Tolkien.
Yeah.
PugCast episode 12, written by George R.R. Martin.
Honestly, I don't know. Would that be a good deal to be a pug?
Yeah.
I mean,
all that wisdom, all that power.
Right.
Morrie's a level 9 woke.
I mean, I would like to be able to divert Nibiru, but I can't. So it's.
I mean, most humans can't do that either.
Right.
That's like Morrie, and then level 10 vegans, and that's it.
Level 10.
Level 10 vegans.
All right. Sam asks, "Hey Calvin, did you see the ramen noodle meme going around?"
The ramen noodle meme going around.
It's gonna be May.
Those are two different things.
I don't
no,
know.
I haven't seen the ramen noodle meme. Maybe here's the thing. It's not a meme until PewDiePie reviews it. That's how I think of it. But you know what the worst meme is? I don't know what it is, but you know what the worst meme is? This
What?
freak. Okay, so there's this kid, right? There's this little kid, and he went to Walmart and he started yodeling a Billy Joel song, right? And someone started filming it, right?
What song was it?
I don't know. I don't know what Billy Joel is. I just know that's the
I
guy.
can't
who made the
imagine
original song.
any of them being yodeled. That's why I'm asking. I mean, I know a couple.
I mean,
of
it
them,
sounds terrible and he's out of rhythm.
Yeah.
But it became something of a meme, right? And people would make remixes of this stupid kid that I absolutely despise. I haven't even met him. He could be the sweetest person ever, but I still want to punch him in the face just for existing. But then he got invited to perform at Coachella, and he did.
Some kid that does what?
Yodels and plays the guitar, I guess.
A yodeler.
Yeah, a yodeler performed at Coachella alongside the likes of Justin.
I'll add that to my reasons to ignore Coachella then, I
Reasons
guess.
to ignore Coachella. Coachella's it's like I feel like people go to Coachella just to say that they can go to Coachella. It's like Coachella is the supreme of
Isn't
concerts.
it just like a concert thing?
Yeah, I mean it's like a music festival or something like that.
All right.
That's really all I know
Well,
about.
by definition, I wouldn't be going to that.
Yeah. Like as far as I know, you don't even listen to music. All you listen to is like metronome tones. You listen to
I don't listen to metronome.
you listen to like airline instructional videos.
No. I have those memorized now, so I don't need to listen to them anymore. Let's see. Does the Pug have a scholarship? Oh, great. Now we have a scholarship fund idea.
Morrie has a master's degree in French.
Morrie does long division now in his head. He,
Yes.
If he's like staring out the window, we know he's working on a problem. So we just leave him alone.
Morrie's trying to disprove flat
Okay.
Earth, but he can't.
All right, here. Ramen Noodle is Justin Timberlake's hair. And he sings, "It's Gonna Be Me," but it sounds like it's gonna be May.
So what you're saying is that a clip from a really old music video is becoming a meme now.
Is that an old?
I would assume so. I can't like if Timberlake changes hair back to that, it's gonna be terrible. I doubt this is a real meme. Like guaranteed, this person who's commenting saw like one post on like iFunny and he thought it was a meme. There's no way this is a big thing. If it is, I'll eat my hat.
Look. Where would you find it? Would you find it on YouTube? Is that where
I don't
memes
know.
live or something?
I mean, if I could just get to Google, because you're defaulted to Google.
is that
Drive.
like the island of misfit toys? Is that what YouTube is now for memes? Or
Okay, so if I type in Justin Timberlake, it's not even any of the top results, so I'm saying it's not a meme right now. But let's see this.
Josh asks, "Would you ever come to Australia?" Oh,
I mean,
boy.
yeah, I mean,
I
not to
actu-
Australia.
I
I hate
actually-
Australia.
I actually would like to see Australia, but the problem is I have to get in a plane to go there. But I'm not a big traveler, so I guess I would. That would be a place that would interest me enough to go.
Okay, so I am finding some results, but
Sam
it's
says
not really
Google
a
it.
big thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is a
May-
garbage
maybe
tier
it's
meme.
maybe it's a Facebook.
This
thing.
is garbage. Facebook is garbage. I hate Facebook.
Well,
okay,
we're
can
on
I just talk about?
Facebook.
I don't care. Can I talk about how much I hate Facebook for a minute?
Well, I
Facebook
don't like
is
Facebook
a breeding
either.
ground for stupid garbage and like
It's not-
stolen content.
Are you saying it's not the intellectual level of YouTube? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying yes. Yes, I would. In my opinion, even Tumblr is better than Facebook, and I hate Tumblr. I hate
Oh,
Facebook
my
more than I
word.
hate Tumblr.
No, he does. He didn't say he hates Australia. He says he doesn't. He hates Facebook.
Yeah, I hate Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
No, Australia would be a pretty neat place to go to. It's just I can't even imagine how.
This is a
how
year
many
old.
hours-
This is a year old.
Yeah.
Who commented this?
Right. I can't imagine how many hours it would take in a plane to go to Australia. Does anybody know? Oh, let's see here.
Sam, minus 5,000 Facebook points.
What is a Facebook point?
I don't know, but he just lost
Well,
5,000.
Sam says that is the point. It is garbage.
Okay, here's the thing.
17 hours in a plane? Like, I can't even imagine that. 17 hours
I mean, first
in
class,
a plane.
maybe. I
Well,
can
nobody
understand
goes first class. I mean, that's expensive.
that. The toilet's
17 hours.
soul-crushing.
Yeah, I'm not from Dallas, so if it's 17 hours from Dallas, I live up north of Seattle, and it takes me 5 hours to get to Dallas. Holy cow! Well, I guess don't hold your breath. Like, can you imagine being in a plane like over 20 hours?
Can you imagine still thinking the ramen hair meme is funny? Sam can.
Well, that's his point.
Sam Keen? More like
just,
Sam Can.
it's nuts. It's
grief.
not, that's his point.
Here's the thing. Like, being garbage unintentionally and being garbage ironically, in the end, you're still garbage both times, right? Like, why, like, honestly, like, at this point, why waste time formulating a joke or putting effort into something when you can just take something that's a year old and say, hey, look, Justin Timberlake's hair kind of looks like ramen noodles. Am I cool yet? iFunny, please accept me. Not even iFunny would accept that. You're like 9gag tier. Like, you wouldn't last a day on the real internet. I'm better than you because I like better memes. And that's that.
Well, I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that the whole thing is just nonsense. All right, let's see here. Google, all right. Yeah, I don't even know what. I know who Justin Timberlake is, but that's about it. Let's see.
It just like his hair used
all
to
right,
look like ramen.
Truth Channel. That's traveling time. Okay. Well, that's what I was thinking. It was traveling time. That's a huge amount of time, to be in a plane. But I guess people do it.
Josh,
I'm wondering about like Israel. Like what that's going to be like.
Israel or the flight?
Yeah.
That was not a yes or no question.
No, the flight.
Oh. Josh Callias, I don't know. I've lost all will to live after that ramen meme. But they ask, hey, Michael, has Fern and Andrew ever cast out demons?
Fern and Audrey. No, not that I know.
Has Morrie ever cast out demons?
I don't believe he has.
I'm not gonna lie. I only asked his question so I could then follow up with the Morrie thing. I'm sorry, Josh. I used you, but.
Okay. Well, who asked the? Oh yeah, John. All right, I see it now. Yeah, I don't believe that they would ever have run into a case like that. Yeah, I don't even know how many hours the Israel trip is. I'm kind of pitying Trey. Trey's going along on this trip, and Trey's a big guy. Like he's like, I don't know, he's like 6'5", and he's got to weigh 300 pounds. He's like a lineman, And I don't know how he's going to fit in one of those seats, and we were talking about it today. It's like that's just going to be difficult.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like areas where, like, do you think?
Well, you can get up and walk around. I know that.
Do you think a flight to Australia is going to have like the maximum occupancy? Like, how many people are like, oh wow, I need to get to Australia right now from Bellingham?
I have no idea. Yeah, no idea. I'm surprised. Well, maybe it's shorter if you go from LA, but
maybe. I mean, connecting flights would probably make that less terrible.
All right, here we go. Camden, West Virginia. I think you mean Camden, New Jersey. Or no, wait a minute. Camden, West. Is that part of the name? Oh, all right.
Dad, you need.
No, I thought the WVA was part of. All right, it is part of his name.
It's a different color, Dad.
No, not on my screen. It's not.
All
New
right.
Jersey to Israel is 12 hours.
Oh,
okay.
hey. Screw Tape has a question that I really want to answer, or I really want.
I've not listened to anything Peterson. I've never
Jordan
listened
Peterson
to him,
is
so
amazing.
I don't know.
His content is so good.
So I don't know.
His content is incredible. Jordan Peterson is like this. I believe he's a psychologist from the Toronto area, right?
Yeah.
And he teaches at uni, and he got there's been a lot of controversy about him because
I have him
his
in
thoughts
my
on the trans thing.
Yeah, I have him in my. I know the whole story of how people got to know his name, but I have him in my podcast thing. I just haven't listened to any yet.
We'll start listening.
Well, when I get time to actually sit there and listen to something,
I'm gonna sit outside your office with a boombox.
His is different. Like I have these podcasts I can listen to that I don't need to pay attention. It's just noise, like fantasy baseball or something like that. But something like that, I would actually need to not be doing something else and to actually listen.
I think it's pretty easy to absorb his information, at least because I'm interested in the stuff that he talks about, right? So I'll just have Jordan Peterson's podcast playing through my phone speakers while I'm, let's say, playing some game that doesn't require too much attention. Like,
Yeah, I'm just thinking
Call of Duty.
I'd have to pay attention because I get asked questions about him.
But Jordan, like
I have
Jordan
a question for
Peterson is so
Josh. Josh, are you in Australia? Are you from Australia? Because you said mate, so I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
from Australia.
Resurrection Jose, Mr. Peterson is a mixed bag when he wraps his tongue around the Bible and various biblical stories. And
Yeah, and I've read a couple articles about him. That's probably fair.
Here's the thing. I don't really mind the way he talks about the Bible because he's never trying to outright say it's wrong. He frames it. He has a habit of framing everything in the sense that, he talks about it as if it's all parables. But I'm not sure if that's because he believes that or if because he's trying to help people understand it.
I think
he has an extensive knowledge
He seems to be about archetypes, so that's naturally going to be his approach.
Yeah. But he talked about this really interesting thing on the H3H3 podcast, right? He said, and he gave this little, almost like a mini lecture to talk about how, like how much importance, the King of Kings, that kind of title holds. And he says, so you take 1,000 people or 10,000 regular people and you distill all of the best qualities among them. And then you have a nobleman. And then you take 100 of those and then you have like a prince, and 100 of those you have a king, and you take 100 of those kings and distill the best elements from all of them, and that would be the King of Kings. That would be like a very like that's his representation of how important like the figure of Jesus would be. And I like his talks because he takes very abstract things and he tries to frame them in a way that you can visualize
that would be
stuff
useful.
like that.
Yeah, the whole Alfie Evans scandal is just ridiculous.
Who?
This is going to sound like I'm making it up, but it's
Trust me, I'm numb to everything.
A 2-year-old boy in the UK that the hospital and the government would not let his parents take him home or like to pursue alternative treatment. In other words, they required that he stay in the hospital and die. So the state assumed that they have like ownership of somebody's kid, which is just abominable. But that's what you get. If you're going to support, state-sponsored medicine, and I know this wasn't directly a case about rationing healthcare, but any state-sponsored, state government-run healthcare program, the government assumes certain rights when it comes to patient care, not just rationing, but just generally. And this is what you get. This is what you get. The state can't tolerate being overruled even by the parents. And it's an abomination.
There's this thing that got passed in Canada recently. I don't remember. It was like a certain bill, or it was like an amendment of an existing bill that changes like a lot of hate speech related things in ways that was pretty negative.
Like you can go to jail or get fined if you don't use the weird set of gender neutral pronouns or something.
Stuff like that. And here's the thing. Like, I understand the angle of like, oh, you should be polite and refer to people how they want to, but there's literally nothing that says that kind of thing will help them in the long run because even after the procedures and after that stuff, the suicide rate in the trans what's the word? Not community, but like demographic is not reduced after like the surgeries. Like it's being treated the wrong way and the wrong method of treating it.
It's even more sinister because now the state decides how you can be polite, and there's only one way to be polite. Yeah. The way the state dictates.
But if you really cared, like if you're part of that community and you really genuinely cared about these people that coexist around you, wouldn't you want to pursue some kind of treatment that would better increase their odds of life?
Well,
because I don't want people to die, right? And I don't think the way that people are going about it is right.
Ultimately, the state decides that a political agenda is more important than people's lives, but they'll never put it that way. Yeah, Susan's all right.
Bill C-316. That's the
What's the last book you all read? Okay. I got to think about this a minute because
I haven't finished a book in like 10 years, but the last book I tried reading, or the last book I started, was Zach Anner's "If at Birth You Don't Succeed," which is it's a very great book. Zach Anner is this guy who was born with.
Why didn't-
I think it was like cerebral palsy. I lost the book. But I was so
I was
close
gonna
to
say,
finishing.
why didn't you finish that?
But-
Because you wanted it so bad.
Oh, it was so funny. I don't know where it is, but when I find it, I'm gonna finish it. But Zach Anders, this like comedian, and he's like this lifestyle, like video creator, right? And he was born with like this. I don't remember what it is. I think it's like cerebral palsy or something like that, where
I
he's
think-
bound to a
yeah,
wheelchair.
I think that's
You know,
what
his
it is.
body's kind of deformed, but he's really, really funny. And he had like a show with the Oprah Network because he won a contest. And his autobiography is called "If at Birth You Don't Succeed,"
Yeah,
and it just talks about his life and the crazy stuff
it's very
he's done.
clever. Yeah.
It's a very great book. It's really funny.
Yeah.
I just love all of Zach Anders' content.
While during my trip, I read a book called Break. I listened to it. I listened to books on, not tape but recorded. My brother and I got through the whole book while we were driving back and forth to my parents' house, called Breaking the Ring. It's a book about breaking the Walker spy ring, the Walker family spy ring, which was really good because John Walker and his son, he recruited into the spy business. A lot of that activity was centered in Norfolk, where Uncle Brad was, and in some cases even some of the buildings and ships that he worked in or on. And before that, I read the book American Ulysses, which was a biography of Ulysses S. Grant, which was awesome. I knew the basics about Grant, but he was a great man, and just in every respect, I think really underappreciated. So those are the last two. All right, anyway. Let's see. Your book is where the charger is.
I don't get that.
Well, you couldn't find your charger and you couldn't find the book. So
No, I found my charger.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, the DSLR charger. Oh, I have no idea where that is. Okay.
Let's see
The
here.
last time I saw it, it was plugged into my wall. I don't remember if I moved it or if Mom moved it or if someone else did. I checked my giant bin of electronics and it's not in there. Maybe it found its way into my closet behind the bookshelf. I don't know. I'm gonna have to tear that
All right.
place
There's
apart.
some reference here to a Smith. Okay, what is that? What's this about Morton Smith? Has the secret letter mark or gospel mark or something like that. Yeah, Morton Smith was known for something called Secret Mark, which a few years after I started at Logos sort of was a big deal at the academic conferences because somebody came out. There were two scholars essentially kind of battling out the case for and against Morton Smith, that he had found what he put forth as Secret Mark in actually tucked away in a book, or was it tucked away in a book, or was it like part of it was like a leaf in a cover or something like that in a book. But anyway, that it wasn't authentic. But these two guys went back and forth over Secret Mark. It's an apocryphal text, nothing that anybody considered sacred or anything. But it was interesting. I can't remember the whole deal. Rick Brannon, who we've had on the podcast, who works with me at Logos, was kind of into that whole episode. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't really.
Calvin Ben Heiser. My middle name isn't Ben.
Ben. That means son of. That's Hebrew.
Oh.
Ben Heiser, son of Heiser, which sort of fits and doesn't fit. All right, that just popped into my thing, so I'm a little bit behind yours for some reason. The screen.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Do you want to start up a Discord chat later?
No.
No, as in take calls. I meant.
No.
All right. I'm gonna quickly get up for a moment.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna quickly just switch to a better angle while I. Oh, that's not good. There we go. One moment.
Yeah, Adam 42. I don't really tend to read a lot of literature. My wife reads a lot of it, but I tend to read. I like history. I like World War II especially. I've read several really good things on the Civil War. I like historical biography, that sort of thing. Some cultural critique, kind of stuff, if it's contemporary. I'd be interested in that. Let's see here. I'm listening to Dr. Heiser and I'm about to eat nachos. Greatest day in my life. Well, I hope things improve from this point forward. Oh, let's see here. My screen shifted a little bit. Yeah, word has it that it's a scholarly ruse. Yeah, and again, there's a strong case to be made for that in regard to Smith. It's probably not a slam dunk, but there's a real good case to be made for that. What's my opinion on Charles Finney? Well, I've not read any of his actual material, like primary sources. I mean, I know every time I think of Finney, I think of his, and I presume it's not apocryphal, but there's this episode toward the end of his life where he like laments his own ministry and wonders if he ever actually converted anybody. I mean, that's pretty sad, but I don't know what, since I'm not one of these, how can I put this? I don't think there's anything sinister about Finney, but I'm not one of these, I'm not positively predisposed to revivalistic stuff, because to me it's too much of an emotional appeal, and the emotional appeal tends to not be on great or significant ideas. But again, that's me. I guess I'm the personality type. But when somebody whose bread and butter was emotional appeal and revivalistic kind of preaching, and he gets to the end of his life wondering if it amounted to anything, that to me that says a lot, and it's not real positive. But again, I don't think there's anything amiss, at least that I've ever come across, but I haven't dug anything amiss about Finney himself. But it's just kind of a sad thing. Yeah, the Bigfoot dog blanket, Morrie likes it too. Yeah, sure. I think, of course, the real gospel has been preached in the last 1,500 years. I think the problem is there are certain things that accrue to it that try to get it, kind of get in its way, and mar the clarity, even after the fact. But I think the gospel is simple enough that certainly it's been preached quite a bit. It's just helping people helping people trade their guilt for the work of Christ is the harder task. Not articulating what they should believe. That's easy as far as the gospel, but getting people to actually embrace that. So I think it can be put forth quite clearly and is quite frequently, but our emotions get in the way, our guilt gets in the way, and people who sort of trade off our guilt and our emotion in a ministry sense, I think that's a problem. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, which view of that? Somebody just posted Fausto Parente and Joseph Sievers, Josephus and History of the Greco-Roman Period, Essays in Memory of Morton Smith. I'm wondering if that has anything about Secret Mark in it, or if that's just essays on other things. So I don't have that particular book. There's something else here. Waiting impatiently for the Angel's Book. Yeah, I think that has a date of September 19th on Amazon. So we're real close next week to the 60-second Scholar reboot from Zondervan. There was, oh boy, who was it? At Virginia Beach had a set. Why am I drawing a blank on this now? It was the second meeting. Okay, I got to look this up. Because I signed him. Of course, I lost my mouse now. Let me just check this real quick. Kenny. I don't even have to check it. There, it popped in my head. Yeah, Kenny, who organized the second event. He had a set with him. So there were a few, that we gave away. And we'll do other giveaways too. But that's next week, May 1st. So yeah, like I said, this April's been a blur. I'm behind on turning in the Demon's manuscript, so I try not to think about that too much. But it'll get done. Well, it'll get done. Yes, I'm considering a follow-up to Facade and Portent. I'm doing more than considering it. I have a good bit of it outlined. I have dialogue written. I've done a lot of research for it. So when I get back from Israel, that's going to become a priority to jump into that. Yeah, I don't believe there are Hebrew Gospels of Luke and John at the Vatican or anywhere else. No one's ever produced a single shred, even a thumbnail size piece of a Hebrew gospel. And it wouldn't make any sense for it to be Luke, because Luke was a Gentile, so you can pretty much cross that off the board, from the get-go. Luke is a Gentile writing for a Gentile. Why in the world would he write in Hebrew? I don't see any reason that he even knew it. John, of course, would have known. He would have at least known Aramaic. They all would have at least known Aramaic. Matthew's always the candidate because of a comment in early church history about a Hebrew Matthew gospel. Papias, I think it comes from, but no one's ever discovered any manuscript for it. You'll see people tout stuff like Aramaic gospels, but what they're talking about is targums. They're translations that are centuries later than the New Testament period. There is to date not a single piece of manuscript evidence for a Hebrew or Aramaic original gospel of any of the four gospels. So until somebody produces that, there's no reason to believe it. Harm's Way, U.S. Indianapolis. That'd probably be a gut-wrenching book. I have not read that. I know the basics of the story. I almost don't want to read that. Maybe you can tell us how it was, though. Oh, Susan, you mean fragments of truth, not foundations of truth. Yeah, they have to wait because of their I don't know what the terms are, but because they made a deal for a Fathom event, they have to wait a certain amount of time before they can release it on Faith Life TV. I don't know what the time period is. I'm pretty well out of that loop. So all right.
Hey
Is
guys,
Morrie,
I'm back.
Calvin's back. I was going to say, is Morrie, I accidentally touched something I shouldn't have touched here. There we are.
I'm eating on camera. This one's for you, Mom.
I was going to say, Mom told you not to eat on camera, so. Mom will pop in here any moment.
Correct. And she told you not to eat on camera?
Well, I'm sure she included you in that. I'm watching the door. I'm expecting her to come in any moment. Calvin, stop eating on camera. Her voice will break, and of course you won't see her.
She'll pop up on the monitor like.
Yeah, Grant. The photographs again. They're not Aramaic or Hebrew originals. They just aren't. So these are again older manuscripts. It's nothing really to get too excited about, unless you're into the history of translation. Then you'd be excited about it. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, Reversing Hermon was through Defender Publishing. So Tom and I have known each other for a number of years, and I promised to do something for him, and so. I said it's going to be like all my other stuff. It's going to be academic, but I figured the Enoch material was a good kind of thing for his audience. I mean, down the road, I'm sure I'll come up with something else to do there, because I want I want to do something useful in Middle Earth, Christian Middle Earth, and Tom's familiar with that term, so he knows what I'm talking about there. Yeah, is Art Bell in heaven? Well, if he accepted the Lord, if he put his faith in the work of the cross, yes, but I have no idea if he did. The only thing I know about that is that Art certainly heard the gospel. I mean, when I was on the show a couple times in the history of Coast to Coast, I've actually been able to go through, the message of salvation on the show, because of the nature of whatever it was we were talking about. So, who knows? I don't know. Did you see this, Calvin? Doc Fate says, Calvin, you should eat nachos along with your dad, then you'd have the greatest day of your life. He said earlier he's sitting there eating nachos, watching the show. It's the greatest day of his life. And I told him I hope things improve from this point forward.
I would just like to say, nachos are pretty good.
Yes, Truth Channel and C. Calhoun Art Bell passed away, I guess, a week ago. Maybe it's even a little bit longer. I can't remember the date, but yeah. I've since read that the cause of death was CPD, cardiopulmonary something. Has an abbreviation that's pretty common, but I can't think of it now. It sounded like congestive heart failure, but I think it was CP, whatever that abbreviation is, CPD or something like that. Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, he was a heavy smoker, so I'm sure that had some COPD. That's it. I'm sure that had some role to play, no doubt. Somebody's asking about LEB here. Okay. It's hard for me to see where this begins. Yeah, something. I don't know what Aaron is quoting, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In the beginning, the living expression was already there. That would bear no resemblance to the Hebrew text, but again, that's not going to stop anybody. Oh, let's see here.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Yep.
Do you think Morrie will ever reach level 11 woke?
What happened to level 10? I thought he was level 9.
He's level 10 right now. This is when he's level 10.
When he's sleeping?
Yeah. To reach level 11 would
so
require,
Morrie ascends to a higher level of wokeness when he's sleeping?
just like when he's sleeping, he's getting woke points, right?
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, he'll hit a new level. So from now on, he's 10, but someday he'll hit higher levels of wokeness, of knowledge.
Yeah. Aaron, I need to know if you're pulling my leg here. 'Cause she's saying here, I think Aaron looks like a she there, ERIN. That's the Passion Translation in the book of John. That's John 1:1?
Maybe.
Please tell me you're kidding.
Can't claim to be an expert. I mean, I can't.
Holy cow. I mean, the Passion Translation has basically any scholar who does translation that's reviewed the thing basically says it's garbage. I mean, I posted one such review on my website. It's not the only one. Not kidding. Well, that's my soul-crushing moment for the evening.
You know what my soul-crushing moment of the evening was?
What?
Micah. Oh wait, no. It's something about card games. Never mind. Your audience wouldn't care. I'll tell you after. It was really depressing.
Did you know that Mom wants to go see the Avengers movie tomorrow?
Every time she makes a plan especially when it includes me, I'm the last to learn about it.
Okay, I forgot. That's
Look.
Well, you weren't here when she brought it up.
Okay,
so.
Mom, I know you're watching. Please stop. Please, I don't want to see movies on Monday. You did this last week for the movie.
No, tomorrow's Sunday.
Sunday. That's what I meant. Please stop making movies on Sunday, because Sunday I have to wake up in the morning Monday, right? And most of the time when I have exams for environmental science, they're on Monday. Like Saturday would be perfect.
Do you have
Friday
exams this
better.
Monday?
Yeah, I have the first major test in environmental science.
Then
Monday.
you probably shouldn't go.
Like this is like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm not seeing it Sunday. Like I'm gonna have to skip out again if we're gonna see it Sunday, because I want to be more responsible. See, I'm a good boy. This is video proof of that. Yeah,
well, maybe we'll go some other time. So if you have to study, presuming you actually do study,
I am going to be making flashcards of everything.
All
the only thing I'm doing tomorrow is that I'm meeting up with. I'm going somewhere with Micah after church. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
because we were gonna meet up tomorrow to get a magic card thing, but Micah paid me to pick it up for him on my way to pick up my sister earlier today. So maybe not.
All right. Well, yeah, we're getting near the end here, and Adam 42, the day of Noah. I guess is that the whole name?
Yeah, that's
Watch A Quiet Place. Yeah, we
seen
went
it.
to see The Quiet Place. It was pretty good.
Wait, Dad, you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
were there. Yeah, we watched it. It was a pretty good movie.
It was
John
good.
Krasinski's first movie that he directed and written is pretty good. There are some things about it that annoy me, but overall, I would say the movie was a very positive experience. I would recommend it.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Did you
too.
know that John Krasinski was originally one of the people cast to be Captain America?
Come on.
No, I'm not kidding. John Krasinski was almost Captain America.
All right.
And he turned it down because he wanted to focus on personal projects such as A Quiet Place.
Yeah. All right, Keen. Okay. Well, all right. Thanks for that. Yeah. Well, yeah. William says Passion Translations written by the NAR. It's actually produced by one guy, which note to everyone. Any translation that's produced by one person is probably, I won't say probably, is certainly a translation to run from. Unless it's like somebody like lived 300 years ago that isn't out to just sort of promote themselves, but that's a bad sign, just generally. Especially in this case, the guy doing it is, you can look this up on my blog, but the guy doing this is he has translation experience from, all of his translation experience is like as a missions guy, translating the Bible from English into other languages. He doesn't have any Greek or Hebrew kind of training, so it's not a good situation. But all serious translation projects, even going back to the King James, are committee projects. And that's so that you don't get idiosyncratic translations and you have lots of eyes looking at something and reviewing it and going back through. And it's important to have a committee process for something like that. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, met you with my family. I remember Aaron now. Yes, at Missler's conference. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember now.
Okay,
Let's
so
see here.
the group of people we had here. Wait, am I allowed to talk about people who visited us?
Like us at the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the couple who came here, where the guy was an actor, or not an actor, but like he did plays, right?
Yeah.
He made a drink.
He was the one from Chicago.
He made a cocktail for you guys called Herman's Reversal.
Yeah, well,
And I just thought that was really funny.
right. Since I couldn't really appreciate and it was a considerable effort. This guy's like a chemist.
Yeah.
No, really, that's what it was like. But I don't.
No, I mean, like I have respect for people who make like alcoholic drinks and
Well,
cocktails because there's a lot that goes into it.
This was like chemistry applied. This was like an art form based on chemistry. It was just kind of I'd never seen anything like it.
That's what like cocktails.
But since I don't drink alcohol, I didn't really appreciate it, the effort. But it was considerable effort.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun with them. We spent most of the day with them.
Yeah, I had him, his wife, and their daughter try VR. Just my favorite thing. I'm going to make it work for glasses. I've been talking to someone.
Yeah, I keep getting questions about David Bentley Hart's translation of the New Testament. I've not seen it, but my criticism would be the same. You need to have more than one set of eyes on a translation. But I would be willing to bet, I'd probably be willing to bet my library that David Bentley Hart's translation is better than the Passion Translation. So I think I'd be pretty safe there. All right. I will never produce a study Bible.
And why is that?
Because that would take probably 5 or 6 years out of my life to do that.
You could hire someone else to do it and then say it was you.
Yeah, I could be dishonest. You're
That's
right.
How,
I
think
could
that's
do
how
that.
all YouTubers write books,
I could do that.
except for Zach Anderson.
Why didn't that occur to me? No, I could produce 5 or 6 projects before I could produce that one thing. So that's just a matter of what's the best use of my time. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. It's 9:00. Thank you for everybody for listening.
Thank you everybody for tuning into PugCast episode 11. If you have more cards to send me, please. They don't have to have money, but they have to have words in them.
Right. But don't deny it. You like the gift cards too.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So does Morrie. Morrie likes gift cards.
See, look, he perked up. He wants gift cards. He needs money. He needs to.
He heard gift card and now he's awake.
Whoa. Woke level 12. Woke level 12 achieved.
Oh, Morrie, you're just a piece of work.
No, everyone else is a piece of work for Morrie.
Okay. I saw him shiver a little bit. Let's get him out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
Now that he's
Thank you.
conscious, he's not as warm. His hibernation's complete.
All right. Are we off?
No, not yet. I just want to say,
close
starting on PugCast episode 12, there's going to be a special little thing at the beginning of each stream.
Oh, and you know what? We should say too that since I'm going to, we may be able to do one more before leaving for Israel.
I had an idea for a way that we could do it while you're gone. I was wondering if I could bring in Pastor Dax or something for an episode.
Well, you could do what you want. Yeah.
Alright. Okay.
It's just that I'm not going to be available.
Because I had some idea for guest hosts that I could bring out in case you were gone. Because number one, I like doing the stream. Number two, I like money even more. This is America.
All right, I'm signing off.
All right, see you later. I'll turn off the stream now. Why did my hair look like this the whole time? I look like who's that aliens guy? Pugs. I look like Jimmy Neutron. This is horrible.